Ever had a friend who needed advice and you just didn't know the right words? Well, today we're going to fix that, but with writing. We're diving into how to craft an awesome advice article that's super clear, confident, and genuinely helpful. So you ready? Let's get into it.
So here's the game plan. First up, we'll figure out what exactly an advice article is. Then we'll get into planning and structuring it. After that, we'll talk about using the right kind of language to sound friendly and confident. We'll do a quick practice round and then wrap it all up with a checklist and a full example. Simple as that.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1. What is an advice article anyway? Let's break down exactly what it is and why it's so useful.
So, think about it. Ever had that urge to write something down to help a friend figure something out? That's exactly what an advice article is all about. It's your shot to be that helpful guide, using just your words to make a real difference for someone.
Okay, so here's the official definition. An advice article is basically a guide. It gives suggestions or solutions to help a reader with a problem they're facing. Your main goal as the writer is to be super supportive and encouraging, making sure your reader feels like they know exactly what steps to take next.
I bet you've seen titles like these all over the place, right? How to stay confident during exams, or how to make new friends. These are things we all go through, which is what makes them perfect topics for an advice article. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll be able to write awesome articles just like these.
Okay, now for the really important part. Before you even think about writing your first sentence, we need a plan. A great plan is like the blueprint for a building. It's the foundation for everything that comes next.
Seriously, this is a huge deal. Great advice always starts with a great plan. It just helps you organize your thoughts so everything flows logically. Plus, it makes the actual writing part way easier. It's a total game changer. So here's a super simple 5-step plan to get you started. First, you gotta identify the problem. What are you actually trying to solve? Step 2, think about the causes. Like, why is this problem even happening? Then you brainstorm some killer solutions. And to make those solutions crystal clear, you wanna add some examples. And last but not least, you always end with a little bit of motivation to cheer your reader on.
Let's put this plan into practice. Imagine our topic is exam stress. Okay, so the problem is that students feel nervous. What's the cause? Well, maybe they're not sure how to manage their time or stress. So what are the solutions? Simple stuff like making a study plan, taking breaks, and getting enough sleep. And the motivation? A simple believe in yourself. You've got this. See how that works? This pattern is a fantastic recipe for a great article.
Okay, so you've got your plan. Now you need a solid structure to hold it all together. Think of it this way. Your introduction needs a good hook to grab the reader's attention right away. Then you'll want to use subheadings to break your tips into neat, organized sections. And if you're listing things, bullet points are your best friend. They make everything so much easier to follow. And of course, you wrap it all up with a conclusion that leaves your reader feeling inspired and ready to go.
Okay, plan? Check. Structure? Check. Now let's talk about the magic ingredient, the words you use. The language you choose can totally change how people feel about your advice, so this is super important.
So our first power tool is something called an imperative verb. Don't worry, it sounds more complicated than it is. These are basically command words. They're direct action words like make, start, or try. When you use them, your advice sounds really clear and confident, like you know exactly what you're talking about.
And look how easy they are to use. For positive advice, you just start with the verb. Stay calm. Make a timetable. Super direct. And if you want to tell someone what not to do, just pop don't in front of it. Don't panic. Simple, right?
Now for our second tool, modal verbs. Again, a fancy name, simple idea. These are words like should, must, or could. They're awesome because they make your advice sound a little softer, more like a friendly suggestion instead of a strict order. It just helps create a really supportive and friendly vibe.
For instance, saying you should revise daily sounds really encouraging, doesn't it? Or suggesting you could try a group study gives them an option without being pushy. Using these words is a great way to build trust and make your advice feel genuinely helpful.
All right, last language tool, I promise. Let's talk about connectors. The best way to think about these is like glue. They're the words that stick your ideas and sentences together so everything flows perfectly. Words like also, as a result, or for example, will make your writing sound super smooth and professional.
Okay, enough talk. We've covered a lot of theory, but now it's time to actually do something. Let's jump into a quick advice challenge game to practice what we've learned.
Ready? Here's the challenge. Your friend keeps forgetting their homework. What's one piece of advice you could give them? The trick is you have to use either an imperative verb, a command word, or a modal verb, like should. Take a second and think about what you'd say.
Awesome job. You probably came up with something great. For example, make a checklist every night is a perfect use of a command. Or, you should use a planner is a fantastic suggestion with a modal verb. See? You've totally got this.
All right, we are in the home stretch. For this last section, we're going to put everything together. The planning, the structure, the language, and see what a finished, amazing advice article looks like.
Okay, here's a pro tip for you. Before you ever call an article done, run it through a checklist like this one. It's a super easy way to double-check your work. Did I state the problem? Did I use headings? Do I have those special verbs we talked about? Is my tone friendly? This little check makes a huge difference.
Okay, let's look at a real example. See how the title immediately tells you the problem? And look at those bold subheadings. Plan your time, stay healthy. They break everything down so nicely. We've got bullet points to make the tips easy to scan. And hey, can you spot our special words? Right there, create a timetable. That's our imperative verb. And over here, you should balance meals. There's our modal verb. This is what it looks like when it all comes together.
And this right here, this is the heart of the article. It's the big takeaway. See, great advice isn't just a list of steps. It leaves you with a powerful idea to hold on to. And this one's a keeper. Preparation is your key to confidence.
And just like that, you know how to write an amazing advice article. Seriously, you've got all the tools now. The only thing left to do is practice. So go on, give it a try. Write about something you know. Just remember to be confident and helpful. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you found this helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to Nest Lingua for more.